She swore she had her IUD replaced. A year later, we have a 2-month-old son. But I just found out the truth hand. Her excuse makes my stomach turn. How do you forgive the lie that rewrote your entire life?
I was going through a divorce, already had a young son from that marriage. When I met her 23, vibrant, knew I told myself I wasn't ready for another child. She assured me she had an IUD. We used it religiously. I never questioned it. Pause ones then in March 2025. People around met people who didn't like her, who had their own reason started whispering that Shed had it removed. I dismissed them. I needed proof. I asked her directly, and she got so defensive that I chalked it up to natural anger. Who wouldn't snap if accused of baby trapping? I told myself I was being paranoid. I filed the suspicion away. Pause ones, but then she got pregnant. She claimed the new IUD must have been inserted wrong, or we had sex too soon after replacement. I wanted to believe her. We had something good, or at least something that wasn't bad. By autumn, ID accepted it. We were going to be a family. I convinced myself this was just life taking a turn. Pause ones, our son was born 2 months ago. I signed the birth certificate. I held him and I loved him, but something gnawed at me. I asked her again quietly, not accusing about the IUD. Her face went through 3 expressions in 2 seconds. Shock, anger, then something that looked like calculation. She blew up, called me untrusting, said I was punishing her for other people's lies. Pause ones, then she cracked. She admitted it. She had the IUD removed. Her words tumbled out. She intended to get it replaced, but didn't think Shed get pregnant in the gap. She didn't tell me because she didn't want to look like a baby trapper. And then she looked at me and said, well, I guess you're done with me now. This is over since you know I lied. Pause ones, the kettle kept boiling in the kitchen. Nobody moved. My hands went cold before my thoughts did. I stared at her mouth, watching it form excuses, and I felt something split behind my sternum like a bone I didn't know I had just snapped. Pause ones, I'm avoidant. I hate conflict. I heard myself say, I'm not done with you. We can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. But inside, I was replaying every conversation. The defensiveness, the way she steered us away from abortion talk, the way she made me feel like a monster for even asking. Pause ones, looking back, I realized this wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. She made a decision about my body, about my life without my consent. She removed contraception and continued to have sex with me under false pretenses. That's not an accident. That's reproductive coercion. I just didn't understand it yet. Pause ones, now I look at my son, me beautiful, innocent son, and I love him. But I look at her and I feel like a stranger. She took away my choice. She rewrote my future. And now, I'm supposed to raise a child with someone who lied to my face for over a year. She says she feels stupid, that she never meant for it to happen. But she meant to hide it. She meant to keep me in the dark. Pause ones, I don't know what to do. If I leave, I'm the deadbeat who abandoned his kid. If I stay, I'm sleeping next to someone who manipulated me into fatherhood. Every time I hold my son, I wonder would I have chosen this. And the worst part is, I'll never know. Hello, I'm Dr. Julian Reed. What you just heard is a textbook case of reproductive coercion, a form of coercive control that targets a person's autonomy over their own reproduction. The victim here was deliberately misled about contraception. His consent was bypassed, and then he was gaslit into doubting his own suspicions. The perpetrator didn't just lie, she weaponized his trust and used his conflict-avoidant nature against him. When she blew up at his questions, that was classic DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. She made him feel like the bad guy for asking. Then when the truth came out, she immediately framed herself as the victim of his potential abandonment. I guess you're done with me now. That's not remorse, that's emotional blackmail designed to shut down his anger and keep him locked in. This is coercive control. The lie, the defensiveness, the pregnancy, the final performance of self-flagellation, it's a pattern. And now the victim is trapped. He can't leave without being vilified, and he can't stay without sacrificing his own emotional safety. The child becomes a permanent bond to someone who has already proven she will override his consent to get what she wants. Here's the psychological fracture. He's now forced to separate his love for his son from his betrayal by his partner. That split creates chronic anxiety, resentment, and often, if not addressed, a cycle of disengagement or explosive conflict down the road. Now, here's where the comment war begins. Some will argue that she made a foolish, impulsive mistake, and that he should forgive her for the sake of the family. Others will say this is unforgivable, a premeditated violation of his bodily autonomy that should be grounds for immediate separation. and legal consultation. What's your take? If the person you trusted most secretly removed birth control and trapped you into parenthood, could you ever truly move past it? Or is staying together for the child just a slower form of destruction? Let me know in the comments.